Give me 1 second. Still setting up the wireless mic. Gotta put some music on. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. How y'all doing? What's up, KL130? Just going to say hello and BRB. Sucks we have to talk about this, lol. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see if it's as bad as everyone is kind of thinking it's going to be with regards to tariffs and increase in prices. But, yeah. What's up, Stang2007? What's up, Code? J-Dog says, it's looking that way. I'm definitely going to get my parts before that happens. For sure. What's up, Tenmei Panati? What's up, Jan? Damien Hogue, hey, how's it going? It's going good. Just chill, you know. Tech Blacksmith says, hey, Danny, how's the foot doing? It is doing as good as it can. I can walk now pretty normally. Sometimes I have a limp, depending if my foot is positioned weird. But I can't jog yet still. I can't like go on the ball with my foot. Like I can't, like doing a single leg calf raise on that foot. I can't do it yet. It's painful. So just slowly healing. But thanks for asking. What's up, Craig Lilly? Arflet. This is not the tech drama I was expecting. Arflet. Dragon Age reportedly only sold about 500k copies and had 30,000 refunds. Dang. I thought you were going to bring up the MKBHD tech drama because that was, it is not Marquez's year, apparently. I think that's overblown. Like, obviously he did a stupid thing driving as fast as he did, but I think people are really about the hate brigading now. Like, I thought the LTT situation, the LTT Labs thing was way overblown. The MKBHD panels thing was overblown, and then now this new DJI Osmo sponsored video thing is overblown. But I'm a content creator, so I'm seeing it as a behind the lens of a content creator. And yeah, I wouldn't even say I have that strong of a bias, especially not for like LTT and LMG. Like I actually don't even watch a ton of their content. They make too much stuff. I am a fan of MKBHD, but I understand certain criticism towards him, but not like the level of hate that people have for these larger channels. It's like they go and beat a dead horse even though the message has been heard. Like Marquez put out an apology already, and obviously apologies are never going to be good enough for people, but yeah, it's crazy. Did I cop a 9800 X3D? I did not. I have a 7800 X3D, so I'm good with that. Like for the, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10% performance uplifts, especially at like the titles that you're going to be using those at, the differences become even smaller, right? Like you saw those numbers tested at 1080p, but most people running a 9800 X3D or 7800 X3D aren't going to be running 1080p. They will be running games at like 1440p ultra settings or 4K, where the difference in gaming performance become even smaller as you know, stress the GPU more. So yeah. Hey, what's up, Logan? How you doing, man? Hope everything is going well. I know you have mentioned some ups and downs previously, but I haven't really heard much with regards to anything negative going on with, you know, your whole living and work situation. So hopefully that's all going well, man. Yeah, people are still commenting on the video, and they still love it. So hopefully the computer is still serving you well. The commenter guy says, I pray that his cabinet talks some sense into that knucklehead instead of being his yes man. I mean, at the core of it, I can understand the tariffs and what, like, at the end goal is, right? Bringing more manufacturing back to the States. But I don't think the extreme approach is the right way to do it, because it ends up hurting the, you know, just the average American citizen. So we'll talk more about that as we get into it, because I'm definitely not like an economic expert and stuff like that, but I do try to keep up with the news, and every even unbiased outlet that I'm reading, it's not like I just read like, you know, one side or the other biased news outlets. They're all pointing towards higher electronics or just higher prices for all imported goods, but specifically anything from like China being I think they were quoting like 60%, which is ridiculous, but I think it was like quoted at like 10% import tariffs just across the board. So yeah. Hey, what's up, Simon Lee? Just bought a new Form D T1 case for 160. I don't know what that case is. We can look it up though. Let's see. Make sure my browser's Form DT1 case. The T1. Oh, okay. So it's one of these. I kind of like try to categorize these types of cases. It reminds me of the NR200, maybe a little bit skinnier and slightly larger. But we're talking about like this is the ITX case. Yeah, like we're talking about like an ITX kind of smaller. Not tubular, but smaller form factor cases, yeah. What's special about this one specifically? It comes in parts so that you build it. Sandwich kit, okay. So it looks like you build it from pieces. Interesting. Yeah, it's a pretty sleek looking case. You spent 160 on it. Normally it looks to be. Oh, but you might have bought it assembled. Let's see, it's a non-sandwich. Here it is. Yeah, so not sandwich. 160. Okay, got it. Yeah, pretty cool looking case. Very simple. Ventilation. Big mesh panels on both sides, none in the front. But with this, you're probably doing like a top-down cooler anyways, or like a downdraft one, like low profile. So that makes sense. What's my opinion on the 12500 i5V Pro? I don't know if I formed any opinions on this yet. Yeah, I don't have any opinions formed. In what context? I guess, do you already have it? Are you looking to get it? What can I do to upgrade my PC? I have a i5 12600KF and RTX 3060 Ti, 16 gigs of RAM. To make it better, RAM is a pretty easy upgrade in this situation. I think for the most part, you could still get by with 16 gigs of RAM. When you play games and stuff, it'll adjust. Like, if you put more RAM into your systems, there are games that will use more system memory and push up beyond 16 gigs. But I think Diablo 4 is a pretty good example of this. Like, if you have 16 gigs of RAM, Diablo 4 is going to say, okay, you have 16 gigs, we'll do what we can with it and just perform how it does. It's not like you're going to be stuttering, hitching all over the place, like having a super terrible experience. But if you up it to 32 gigs, it will eventually push into like 19, 20 plus gigs. I would have to look more into it as to, like, buying more RAM isn't necessarily going to give you as big of a performance boost as, say, upping your 3060 Ti. If you want to upgrade your PC, looking at your specs, you know, you have a 12600KF, which is still a pretty good processor. You have 4 terabyte NVMe storage, that's plenty. 16 gigs of RAM, I mean, you could up that, but I think the biggest for like performance in gaming, it's going to be that graphics card. You could keep the 16 gigs of RAM, you can keep the 12600KF, you could slap in like, I don't know, an RTX 4070 Super or something, and see huge gains. But that's going to be a more expensive upgrade. So for here, I would say RAM and graphics card are the top two, but graphics card is going to net you the most performance. I don't know who that MK guy is. I don't know if you don't know who Marquez Brownlee is? I feel like anyone, even if you're not into like the phone tech space, like Marquez is one of the most OG tech content creators on the platform. I don't know if he's the biggest. Is he the biggest also? Not only one of the more OG ones, but also the biggest. But either way, huge controversy with him in this last week. But our Fletch, being someone who does follow tech drama, I'm not sure if I believe if you don't know who he is. Like, you would have been fed his content at some point in time if you've ever looked for a phone review. But, hey, what's up? We got Coalition Gaming Chris in the house. Hey Danny, I've been having a terrible time out in the field. Work 5 hours from home, second night in hotel. Wi-Fi is decent though, managed. In the field, in a hotel? Are you still in California, or are you like, you're not like working out of state, are you, Chris? But sorry to hear about that, man. Everything's going good with Logan. Let me go over to the chat side, or the shorts. Mike Barbour says, heard 20%. 20% on, you mean across the board, or with regards to the tariffs, or on China? I thought China, I've seen multiple outlets report 60%, which is really high. Could you imagine 60% tariff? I don't know if the tariff is applied to, if it's probably applied to the cost that, you know, the companies or importers are paying, and not on the final reflected price. So it's not like prices are gonna go up by 60% to compensate, right? It's probably on whatever the raw cost is, and then adjusted from there. So yeah. Hey yo, what's up, Yoke? What's up, Firestorm? R3D3Y3Z says no handle on the other case. For cases that small, you could probably drill in some handles, get some kitchen cabinet handles, get a strong base for it, and make your own handles. What is the tariff news? I haven't been paying attention to the news. Yeah, we'll get into it. So it's been 12 minutes. We'll get into it in a couple of minutes here. Bishop, California. Where is that even? Everything has gone wrong at this inmate camp. We're doing fiber till work and finished. But are you getting overtime? Do you get paid overtime, Chris? Are you getting like per diem for travel and then getting overtime and your meals paid for and not like all that stuff? Where's Bishop, California? Bishop. I used to be a California resident. Oh, okay, so that's more inland. Yeah. I mean, in terms of California, I've been to San Francisco and like NorCal, and then I've lived in the SoCal area, but I've not really, yeah, I've never been inland California. The farthest inland I've probably been is like, it's, technically I guess Lake Tahoe, if you count that, but Sacramento probably. These tariffs are going to be a nightmare. We're about to see the realization of government from the movie Idiocracy. That's why I kind of wanted to bring it up. And I don't think this is like really you know, an issue that one side or the other is going to deal with more. Everybody's going to have to deal with this. Whether, who doesn't depend on what side you support, doesn't matter, you know, who you voted for, etc. Everyone is going to feel the effects of this if it is as bad as everyone is reporting it to be. Now, we do know that media in general, not just mainstream media, but all media, just because, you know, they want the clicks and views, sometimes they do sensationalize things. So if it all ends up to not be as big of an issue and there were more of just kind of like hit pieces or whatever to make Trump look bad, I'm not going to complain about that, because as long as we have more affordable prices across goods in general, it's not necessarily just going to be, what's it called? Electronics that's being impacted. So, you know, this isn't just a bunch of nerds complaining that their video gaming and their consoles and PC parts are going to be more expensive. There's a lot of goods come from overseas. So yeah, this is an issue for everybody. Logan with the $2 super chat. Thanks for that. I hate computer viruses, such terminal illnesses. To be honest, I have not, or if I have had a virus, I was not made aware. So fingers crossed I haven't had a virus. But yeah, I haven't had a virus in many years. I know, or at least I I can't remember the last time I had a virus. It must have been over 10 years ago. I'm trying to think of how I got it. I think I was trying to, this was back when I was like pirating and stuff like that. I downloaded like, I think a crack file that had something malicious in it for a game. But yeah, I have not had to deal with viruses in the longest time. And that's mainly due to, you know, sticking to websites that I'm like pretty confident that doesn't have anything malicious, as well as Windows Defender and Windows Virus Scanner, and you know, it does a decently good job, as well as like Google Chrome and Firefox and stuff like that. They'd have some like built-in security that when you're trying to download something that could be potentially malicious, I've even found false flags at times where I'm trying to download a program. I can't think of what it was off the top of my head, but I've tried to download a legit program before, and Chrome so many times have blocked me from downloading it. And then I would have to download it from Microsoft Edge or something, just because the security is like too good. But yeah, I've not. Are you dealing with the virus right now, Logan, or someone else that has a virus? Because yeah, I've not had to actually deal with it. I don't actually have any malware. I just, oh, you sent that as a joke. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. What happened with MKBHD? So, two things happened with Marquez. His latest video was a paid sponsored video, which I think is perfectly okay. So, anyone who has issues with that, I don't understand. Because almost every single content creator out there has done a product ad. So, let me see. MKBHD YouTube. So, in his latest video, it's called My Video Gear is Changing. And this is actually an ad, or it's a paid sponsored video by DJI, who makes, you know, the drones, and they also make action cams. And so the way that sponsored videos work on YouTube is obviously you have to disclose it, which Marquez does. And then usually when you do a sponsored video, and not like a pre-roll ad read, which is like a segment at the beginning of the video, but when you do a full sponsored video, you kind of can only talk about positive things on it. A company is not going to pay you to talk about their product if you're going to bring up negative things. And we see this across like pretty much every other tech channel. Like Linus Tech Tips, for example, have done, you know, sponsored content where, oh wait, what's going on? Oh yeah, I think we're good on the volume, sorry. But yeah, like even like Linus Tech Tips, they do sponsored content all the time where they're paid to, it's not a review once it is sponsored, it's more of a product showcase or overview, because you're not bringing up any of your problems or negative opinions on it, right? You're just going over the features and showing how you use it, etc. So I didn't have a problem with the video as a whole, but a ton of people in the comments did. Everyone complained about it, but it's not in the video anymore, but in one of the clips that he was showing of him using the camera inside first person view, and when he was driving a car really fast, I think it was like in some back roads or something, but the speed limit was 35 and he was going like 90 something, and he has since cut it out of the video and issued an apology. But yeah, people are blowing it up like crazy. It is not his year right now. So it was a caution for children sign. Yeah. So I would have to bring up another video that has it, because rightfully so, he removed it from the video. People are saying he did it because he was called out for it, but I think just having it in the video was weird. It wasn't necessary. And having it in the video showing other people, you know, or it could convey a message that, oh look, my favorite content creator is doing it, so that's okay or something. So I don't know, I think he's getting a little bit too much backlash for it. Obviously what he did was dumb. He apologized. I do think he's not gonna make a dumb or do anything stupid like that in the future, but people are not gonna forget it. Just like how the Linus thing, people beat that dead horse for a long time until I think the LTT Labs controversy is finally like kind of put to rest now and people are over it. But yeah. Chris says, I don't get overtime. I do get per diem for travel, hotel paid. Okay, but it's not the worst, honestly, but failing to complete the work sucks. Yeah, I feel you. Finally got my 4K gaming PC. I love it so far. Nice. What are the specs? Tariffs didn't affect prices his first term. So I'm trying to recall back because time has been this crazy like paradox where when was the last, because remember when Biden had to like apply for some exceptions for specifically, was it Nvidia cards? This was in the last several years. I remember like reading a ton of headlines about it where it was like something about exceptions for Trump era tariffs and things like that. I would have to go back and find when for his first term, when any tariffs were put in place, what they were and how long it took to take effect. But yeah, you're right. Wait, in his first term, didn't affect prices in his first term. I'm not sure if I agree with that. We would have to go back and look at the price history. I don't have that in front of me right now, but I'm pretty sure this statement, if that tariff did not affect any prices from 2016 or from his first term, his, you know, the whole 4 years he was in, or have lasting effects for when Biden took over, I'm not sure if I believe that to be true. Economists have been saying it could be bad. I tend to listen to the economists while hoping it doesn't come true. Yeah, I think for something like this, it would be smarter to stick to the more like economy-based or financial-based like outlets that aren't necessarily biased one way or the other, because obviously any left-wing or left-leaning mainstream media outlet want to like make Trump look bad, right? And then any right-leaning ones want to downplay it and not make him look bad. So like I mean, I guess like I brought up two of them. So like here's the Tom's Hardware, as well as here's this one's taxfoundation.org. But I was trying to look for, you know, not CNN, not ABC, not NPR, because even NPR is like pretty a little bit left leaning, not Fox News, stuff like that. But I guess we're gonna get into this conversation now. Let me get through the rest of the comments before we do that. Wait, am I actually muted? Wait, I'm not actually muted, right? People are actually responding to me, so was I muted at any point in time? You're not, okay. Yeah. Well, no, the issue is, so I actually have my wireless mic right here, but for some reason it's not working. So when and you guys know my history with having a muted mic on stream. It happens more than it should. Okay, we're good to go. We can switch to the wireless mic now. Now the audio quality should have just changed. We're good. China eat the cost. Okay, every like economic expert is saying that China is not going to eat the cost. The companies importing those goods from China are going to have to pay the cost. It's a tax that they have to pay for doing business with, you know, China and other overseas companies. So that in turn is going to raise the prices. China is not going to pay for these tariffs. Guys, we're not here to talk about gas prices, and I'm trying my best not to bring up even the president's names. I'm just talking about the situation in front of us if tariffs are imposed. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. But yeah, gas prices under Obama was, actually I'm not even going to read it because there's so much more at play than just who is the president, you know, at any given time. This isn't just something that once someone takes office, it's going to like swing the prices of everything, and the blame is just to be put on a single person or a single party. There's so much more at play of that. But with regards to the tariffs, I guess first of all, I wanted, because it does sound like we do have a lot of differing opinions. Do you guys think the tariffs are actually going to affect the price of goods in the U.S.? Let me ask that in a poll. Or do you think it's like it's going to have zero impact? The projected or the control tariff. And obviously, there's no right or wrong answer here because we don't know, right? We're gonna have to wait and see into early to like midway through next year. This is just based on what people have seen in the past and what they have, because obviously I don't have all the sources in front of me. You guys are probably reading different sources as well, so. It's funny that, oh, how many people are on the short side of things? Okay, shorts. Okay, so we have about 4 times as many viewers on the mainstream than the short stream. But overwhelming, I'd say 2/3 of the people, more than 2/3, like 70% so far voted, is saying yes on the mainstream, but it's closer to, oh, we don't have as many votes. Is it harder to vote on the short stream, by the way? We have 4 votes so far, and it's 50-50, so I don't think that's enough data, but yeah. Let's buy everything before it kicks in. Yeah. Okay, so let me just go over the article. So we'll go to the Tom's Hardware article. So Trump tariffs would increase laptop prices. Yeah. It's funny because this is a tech outlet, but the way that this reads, it almost reads as to a left bias. But let's read what they say. And I do have this one that we can look through as well. So GOP candidate proposes 60% tariff on Chinese goods. 10+%. See, from other countries. I don't know. This 60 sounds extreme. I don't know if they would meet or if they would actually impose a lower tariff, but I can't imagine the Chinese manufacturers just eating that entire cost. If it's split, let's say 30-30, then it, means less of an increase on our side of things. But let's see. If Donald Trump wins, yeah, your next laptop could be a lot heavier. See, this is the kind of stuff that is more sensationalized. During his current campaign, the GOP candidate and 45th president promised to impose massive tariffs to 10 to 20% of goods of all countries, plus a special 60% rate for those on China. I wish, and according to a recent report by CTA, Consumer Technology Association, even Trump's lowest proposed tariff. So let's go to the CTA, which Consumer Technology Association, producer of CES. See, I feel like anything that we read, you could argue that it's either fake news or people would argue it's either fake news or not correct. This is why I wish all these news website or outlets, they gave actual sources that we could click through, kind of like how Wikipedia does, right? Because you could read the article for what it is, but I want to see the source of the information. Like, what is the source directly that said 60% imports from China? Because if it came out of Trump's mouth, either in like a rally, an interview, or on his website for his policies, then we can say, okay, it's not sensationalized, it's real. But let me see if they do cite that anywhere. Yeah, this doesn't have the source that they cited to did not cite the source. Okay. It would, yeah. I think we're good for, unless, I would imagine it would take a little bit, like a quarter or two, for it to take into effect, unless all the different companies in China and stuff like that, they are also following what economists say, and they ahead of time increase their prices or you know, do anything like that. So I'm going to say right now, this is all speculation. This is just for us to discuss as a group. More specifically, to see if any of you all out there are going to start hurrying to buy your next PC upgrade or any other goods, as a matter of fact, before, you know, this could potentially hit. I'm not trying to fearmonger. This is just bringing up what the latest, like, I guess, topic in tech that would affect all of us is to the table. Because, yeah, I'm trying very hard to not be biased about anything. That's why I want to find the sources, because I know this does sound super extreme. Ultimately, all companies pass the cost down to the consumer. His plan was to... So, let's talk about the point of him doing the tariffs. Because it's not like he's just like an evil guy trying to, you know, screw over the American people. Trump's biggest thing, and for a long time he's talked about it, is to bring back manufacturing to the States. Which is not a bad thing. Because you will create jobs, right? We've had such a reliance on things being manufactured using, I mean, you could question, you know, how moral it is to have cheap labor across and unethical labor produce some of the stuff like the phones and our goods and like just whatever random stuff that comes from China, right? Like child labor, underpaid, poor working conditions, all that. So that's totally understandable. But there's kind of a balance and relationship that we as a country have with other parts of the world, where in the U.S., I mean, look at minimum wage, not only the kind of crappy national minimum wage we have here compared to the rest of the world, but in areas where they're trying to fight to improve minimum wage, like $15 an hour or something like that, right? Now imagine for a factory job or manufacturing job where you're just producing whatever random, you know, thing that is being sold that, you know, for some, like this is just an example, the first thing that's in front of me. This is just like a leveling tool for my cameras. I bought this on Amazon, or I could probably get it on eBay or AliExpress from China for like a couple of bucks. If this was manufactured in the States due to better working conditions and you know, wages and stuff like that, this would be probably 3 to 4 or 5 times the cost. So I don't know what the answer is, right? Because obviously it would be great if we manufactured more here, but we are really good at either engineering or inventing things and then having it made for cheaper elsewhere. It's been like that for the longest time. I don't think this is just a problem that could easily be solved in one president's term, throwing high tariffs, right? This is like an ongoing thing that is going to take years, if not decades, to solve. So, yeah. There's no simple answer to it. I'm just bringing it up just to hear other people's thoughts on it and how it's going to influence their purchasing decisions. What up, Shauner? I'm finally not busy on a Wednesday. You have tuned into a more serious... I'm trying to make it not serious. I'm not trying to like be doom and gloom. But we are talking about potential increases in prices of goods across the board in, you know, like next year sometime. So... things may change, like Trump announced that he will cancel the TikTok ban, a ban that he started. Yeah, with regards to like bans on TikTok and Temu and stuff like that, I honestly have not been following that enough to see what the precedent for it and like the chances of it actually succeeding to being banned. Mark Kavitsky says, buy your computer parts now for everything except graphics card. Wait till the new GPU comes out. Like, see, so we've talked about this in previous streams as well. People are still buying, or they were still buying while it was available, and now they're looking in the used market for RTX 3000 series cards, RX 6700 XTs. Remember when the 7000 series AMD cards and the RTX 4000 series Nvidia cards dropped? They didn't like blow our minds away with the value that they presented. So last gen parts were still very relevant. I could see that being the same case this next time around for, I don't know, they're probably, people are thinking they're going to announce a bunch of new stuff at CES, if not at the end of this year. So they're going to announce stuff. It's going to take a little bit for it to actually hit the shelves. When it hits the shelves, are the prices going to be worth getting versus getting the last gen part? And then if the new supply of stuff eventually gets hit with tariffs, is it even going to be worth it to wait until sometime mid or next year? So I don't necessarily agree with this. I've always been of the mindset of, if you need something now, for the most part, it is okay to buy it now. I know as we get kind of close to the next launch of stuff, you want to wait just to see if they're going to come out with something that just blows it away with price to performance and kind of make stuff in the previous generation obsolete. But I mean, what has the last like 2 cycles of releases told you? Has there been anything except for the 7800 X3D and 9800 X3D? I think those were the 2 exceptions. What else has like made it so that the clear choice is the current gen parts? No matter what happens, the increase in price will always be put back into consumers. Yeah, because companies aren't going to try to, year after year, quarter after quarter, companies are trying to raise the bar for profits, right? Nobody's trying to lose money. So, just pushing the cost onto the consumer. That's something that we as consumers can fight back on if it's not a necessity, right? Like, you could argue that computer parts, nobody needs the newest computer part that might carry this like high tariff. You could just get something in the used market and carry you over. Other goods though that are more of a necessity, like maybe on the more agricultural side of things, like for anything that we bring in, like goods and produce that are not grown in the US, if the 10 to 20% tariffs hit those things, then it's hard to, to say that that's not a necessity. So, yeah. Do you think new Intel GPUs will be hit with these new tariffs since the new GPUs, are they coming out in December? I've not seen any news on this. Yeah, what sources have you seen? We're talking about the Battle Mage ones, right? Or are we talking about like a Alchemist refresh? Well, if gas prices goes down as promised, it's a wash. Yeah, we'll have to see. I guess I wonder what does the average American spend on gas per month? It's very different, right? Because not everybody has to commute long ways to work. Some people take public transportation. Some people work from home. Some people work hybrid. Some people just have like a 10-15 minute drive. But I know some people have really long commutes. But easy fix, stop buying this stuff. Most PC electronics have a 3 to 10 year life. Yeah, for the PC side of things specifically. But if we're talking about other goods, like just like raw materials for building new homes and stuff like that, there's so many different industries that could be affected by imports, like raw metals. I'm at 250. What do you drive? 250? That's like $60 a week, assuming 4 weeks. 60 times 4 is about 240. 60 a week. Are you driving like an SUV or a truck or something? I guess as someone who drives a Yaris, because my car is just a point A to point B, and I understand people have different situations. You might want to put yourself in an SUV because it's safer in case you get in an accident. Maybe you're hauling stuff. Maybe you do work that requires a truck or something. But dang, $60 a week. Yeah, the Yaris I mean, yeah, $5 $5 a gallon really sucks, but with my Yaris, and with, you know, I definitely don't drive nearly as much as probably the average person. I don't get 40 miles per gallon though. It's like in the 30s. 40, I don't think Yaris has ever got 40. I have a little, oh, you do deliveries, that's why. Okay, yeah. There are new chip factories being built in the US, yes. But those aren't going to be up and ready to go and producing to nearly to the same like capacity as Taiwan for a while. So this is what I'm talking about. These things have been worked on or being put in place. It's not just one president that is responsible for it, right? It's like multiple administrations play into things like this. I have a Tesla 3 now, will never go back to gas. I want to switch to all electric, but yeah, I'm just waiting for it to be more mainstream and cheaper. I'm used to paying $60 a week on gas, but now I work from home. Yeah, working from home is it's not only a time, like, it's a big time saver and like a gas saver, which is like twofold. If anything, just sitting in traffic for like 30 minutes to an hour, that just feels like such a waste of your life going by, and you're not getting paid for it. Most places don't pay for commute anyways. Can the Yaris drift? I've not really tried. I have spun out, going a little bit too fast around like corners and stuff when it's wet out, but I've never tried to drift on like dry pavement. It takes a long time to make chips at a decent rate. At best, it's 5 year, or at best, it's a 5-year plan to get it going. Yeah. So I don't know. Obviously, right? Regardless of what like political leaning you have, regardless of whoever you voted for, regardless if you like one candidate or the other or completely hate one, I think everyone should be rooting for whoever the hell your president is to do well for the country as a whole and to do well by the American people, right? I don't understand the mindset of people who want a particular president to fail, because when they fail, you feel the, like, you know, the repercussions of it. So I'm rooting for whoever the hell is in office to do the best thing for the American people and to keep the prices down. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'm not trying to like, you know, play teams or favorites here. Like, the results of the election were the results. Whoever, or I guess, you know, Trump being president now, I want him to do what's best for not only just us as a country, but also for our reputation and our place in the world as a whole, as like, you know, one of the first world, you know, powerful countries. So Danny's shirt color proves his allegiance. I know, right? I've always been an AMD guy, right? So I've always been red. I've always leaned red, right? But yeah. The same people complaining about tariffs are the same people buying a $100,000 Tesla. Nah, I think there's plenty of people in the chat, I'm sure, are worried about tariffs that are definitely not buying Teslas. I have nowhere near a Tesla. I have a Toyota Yaris, and it concerns me as well. Do you use Micro Center or Best Buy for hardware? I can't use Micro Center. I bought stuff from Micro Center when I visited California, but I don't really have access to Micro Center where their deals are good. They do have an Amazon store, and I think they do ship a handful of things, but the prices after all that's considered, because they do kind of upcharge it when they're put on like Amazon, it just makes it like the same as, you know, getting it from anywhere else, like Newegg or Amazon. Best Buy, I have bought computer parts from there when they've had good deals, but not a ton. I would like to buy more from Micro Center and Best Buy if they made their stuff, you know, if they were more competitive with their prices and made them more readily available to everybody. But it's just a matter of fact that, you know, Amazon and Newegg, for most people, are, and a little bit of B&H, are the best sources to get PC parts, like brand new PC parts. Make GPUs great again. I'm pretty sure people will love that. MGGA. Bro, I camped out in front of Silverdale Best Buy for a 3090. Crazy they had some there. Yeah, they were specifically the sole carriers of Founders Edition and other ones too. But the Founders Editions were like the sole brick and mortar carriers of the 3000 series RTX cards. See what the votes are first. Yeah, so about 3/4 of the people who voted are think the tariffs are going to affect PC hardware. And I asked about PC hardware specifically because obviously that's what my content is about. But and then about 3/4, or no, 2/3 said yes on the short. So I'm going to end the poll so that I can get them off the screen now. But we are getting a second Micro Center in California. It will be in Silicon Valley. Yeah, which I think is kind of BS considering there are multiple states that have multiple Micro Centers in them, and we can't even get one up here for Oregon and Washington to share. What is this? Like, we've got Amazon, we've got Microsoft, we've got Valve, we've got, you know, smaller companies like ArenaNet, what else? We have like so many tech companies up here where you would think that having a Micro Center in the center of a tech hub would make sense. Intel is up here too, or it's in Oregon, but yeah, got some Micro Center 7 minutes away from my home. I'm jealous of you. I hope the tariff scare doesn't send scalpers and panic buyers in a frenzy. That's actually a good point. I didn't even think about that yet. Let's see. So for this, I'm trying to think. We did see something like this go on at one point where there were scalpers who had an oversupply of cards and they had to reduce their prices, which good on that, right? Like, screw you for scalping. I hope you get stuck with those overpriced graphics cards that you paid for now that the stock has like replenished and resupplied. But for this time around, I don't think it's going to be as bad as like the pandemic did for graphics card pricing. I mean, if it's 60%, then that would make a... it's hard to say because it's not 60% on the final consumer price. It's 60% on whatever the raw price is, you know, a company pays for to get it imported. But that's before they, you know, mark up their prices. So, yeah. I think this is like a prime situation where if you do need something right now, it wouldn't hurt to buy it. I don't know. Do you guys think that having one generation old hardware or buying something before the next gen releases is a bad thing? Like, if you buy like a graphics card right now, and I would say more so AMD than Nvidia, the prices have dropped across the board on AMD cards. Nvidia, not as much. There have been some price reductions, but like AMD cards, they're not what their MSRP prices are. So buying something right now after it's seen its price reduction, I think that's totally fine. I wouldn't buy it at MSRP if something was around the corner, but you've seen the appropriate price adjustments so that it will still fall in line with, you know, the value proposition compared to something that's going to come out in the next 6 months or so, you know, when they announce their new stuff. Like, for a prime example, let's say the 7900 GRE, which is what, like 550 or to 600. Do I really think that AMD is going to release a $600 card that's going to be way better than the 7900 GRE? No, I honestly don't. They might release something that's like $700 that's like a little bit better, you know, they're going to price it accordingly. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess my advice is just buy it if you need it now. You don't, as much as we want to squeeze the price to performance out of everything with something like, you know, potential tariffs and things coming up, and if you already need computer parts, it doesn't hurt to buy now and not wait for the next generation of stuff to release. I just got the 7700 XT for $390, says Bo Lopez. Did you buy that used or new? No way that's new, right? I don't think they've dropped in price that much. Let me see. Oh, wait. Wait, I think I'm being confused. No, that's about right. Yeah, because these were $450 MSRP because the 7800 XT was $500. So these were $450, and I'm seeing it easily for $300 or $400 right now. So yeah, $390 sounds about right. It must be brand new. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think AMD is gonna release the next gen card, something around $400, that is gonna be that much better than a 12 gigabyte 7700 XT performing card? I don't. They're gonna release something probably around $500 that is about 20 to 25% better, which is the, you know, that's the scaling of the price from 400 to 500. Shauner says, I have last gen hardware. Who's going to tell me a 7600X and a 3090 is bad? The 3090 is an extreme case, but I would say even if you had like a 3080 right now, that's still a very powerful card. But yeah, like having, you know, mid to upper mid range to high end last gen hardware is not a problem. And there are still, like, even when 4000 series cards were out, I feel like people were still very interested in the RTX 3080s and 3070s and stuff. 3070s are still super popular now. You can't buy them new anymore, unfortunately, because if you could, let me see, 3070, you can, but they're not worth it. Like 400 is way too overpriced. Here's one for 350, but before they kind of went out of production, I remember, what were we seeing these for pretty regularly? I think like around anywhere from, what was it, 350. And remember, we're talking like a year to year and a half ago. We were seeing, you know, on Newegg, very easily 350. But I don't remember how low they got. But yeah, that, like, last gen cards were still very relevant for, you know, a couple of years after they released. Yeah, these prices suck here. Like 300 for a 3060. Here's the 3070 Eagle. This is renewed though for 334. Yeah, these are all renewed. We were seeing brand new 3070s at one point in time within the last couple of years. Brand new for this price. But it's unfortunate that they're discontinuing this. I guess the 4070, has that even moved in price much? $600 still, huh? I guess you can find some models for like $550. But given how long the 4070 has been out and 50 series is around the corner, I would have expected, and this, oh no, this is a super. Where's the normal 4070? The normal one's 550, normal one's 540, 540. Okay. Yeah, the super, this is, I guess, newer, so this is the MSRP for it. NT Tech says, if the prices go up more than 10%, I'm stopping building. Just takes the fun out of it when you have to tell a client no. I mean, it's up to the client if they want to pay 10% more, right? The thing is if you tell a client no, they're going to have to be forced to go somewhere else where someone might be upcharging even more and taking advantage of the situation. So, it's not like you refusing to build them a PC because the prices across the board are 10% higher is gonna help them out if they need a computer, because then they're gonna have to turn somewhere else that's gonna face them with the same things, like higher prices. It's just the reality of the situation. You just gotta have to talk about them and say like, hey, this is what the build cost is, lay it out. They announced they stopped making all 40 series too. I don't understand. I mean, I can understand from if there's like a limitation to how, like, what can be produced, right? Like, you only have so many of these like these, you know, factories that can produce the chips themselves. So if it's eating into, like, old cards are eating into either the newer cards or other industries, like, you know, cars and cell phones need chips too, right? And they're like, hey, we just can't produce these anymore. Then, I mean, yeah, I guess it makes sense that they are cutting off producing the older cards, but it kind of just sucks that there's no more options to buy them for the people who aren't okay with used parts, that is. Because if you're like, I feel like most of us in, like, this community, right, are okay with used parts. So we're not as affected unless they had rippling effects where the prices in the used market all of a sudden shoot up because of, you know, the higher demand for these older cards. Get ready for 50, 60. Okay, that's being a little bit sensationalist when you think they're not going to go back and put 4 gigs on a 60 series card. I understand the joke, but come on, let's not carry it away with the jokes. The RTX 4030 5 gigabytes, if they ever did a weird number like that. I mean, they used to have odd number VRAM, like with 1 gigabyte, which made sense because at the time it just, you know, they were still getting to that point. And then 3 gigabyte cards, wait, were 3 gigabyte cards a real thing? I know there's like the whole 3.5 gigabyte thing for the GTX 970. There were 3 gigabyte VRAM cards, right? I'm pretty sure. I think like the AMD card specifically. Oh yeah, the 1060 was one, but what AMD cards was I thinking about? What was the AMD one? Was the 7950 VRAM? Yeah, like the 7950 R9 280s. Okay, sorry. These cards are starting to get old enough that I'm forgetting the specs of them. Yeah, so the 1060, I can't believe I forgot about the 1060 because that's a very popular card. And I've even had 3 gigabyte 1060s, but that one I drew a blank on. But I remember specifically, like, AMD had a number of cards, like this and the refresh and the, like, I forget if the R9 380 was that 3 gigs? They had a 2 gig version? R9, how about the 280? Yeah, the 280 also, which was a refresh of the 7950, but yeah. I need to replace my 4 terabyte hard disk drive. Are SSDs and M.2s proven for long-term storage? Oof. So, what is it? Does Backblaze? So, if you want to talk about storage, so Backblaze does this cool thing where they do like these annual reports. Let me see if I can find it. But Backblaze is, they're a cloud storage company. But what the cool thing is, because they have so many like drives, you know, in their in their, I guess, network or their cloud storage. They have a lot of data on like failing storage devices. So let me see if I can find it. Hard drive test data. So here's hard drive. I thought they did one for SSDs as well. But yeah, they break it down by drives failed, annual failure rate, drives, how many drive days. Interesting. But I thought they had, did they have an SSD edition? They did have an SSD edition. I knew I remembered it right. So let's see. Average age in months. Seagate backblaze SSD. But so it's hard to kind of comment on this specifically. You kind of have to put the pieces together yourself, because obviously these are like enterprise long storage like solutions. These aren't like consumer drives, right? I don't know if there's any sources on the internet with data for consumer based drives and longevity of it. But if you want to just look at, you were talking about like SSD technology in general, right? Are SSD and M.2 proven for long time storage? You didn't specify consumer SSDs and SATA and M.2 SSDs, but just if we're looking at SSD technology in general, right? Let's see, drive count, average age in months. So 0 failure rates, average age in months. So this is like 43. That's what, 3.5 years. What's the highest number that they've taken SSDs up to? 50. These are 2 terabyte drives. See, drive count, but they only have 3, so that's not. What's the biggest data? I'm trying to look at like the longest, the biggest drive count and the most months. Like this one is only a little bit over 2 years, so that doesn't tell us anything. You want long-term storage. I don't have the answer to that, and I don't know if anybody actually does. Because if you think about it, to actually perform these tests, how long have SSDs been very like readily available, especially now that we're in like, TLC, QLC based drives, which definitely have lower endurance than SLC and MLC drives. But let's see. Yeah, like this one. So here, no, see, only 18 drives. This one has 106 drives in the stats, and it's not even at 4 years yet. So hard to answer. Scott C says, I'd say so. I have a Samsung M.2 that's got 12 petabytes written. So I think the thing about SSDs is, no, regardless of HDD or SSD, for your use case, right? Because you were talking about upgrading. Where was that message? But if you're, you should always have multiple backups, right? They say have 3, but I mean, I think for a lot of people that could get expensive, especially if the more storage you have. Cloud storage is like not cheap once you start getting to the terabytes. So at least have another physical backup, but if you can afford to, have a cloud backup as well, just in case your house burns down and then your second your physical backup gets like, burnt in the fire. Your fear of SSDs and long-term storage, I think, could be put to rest if you have a backup plan in place. That's the only advice I can give. Because I can't tell you, if you buy you replace your HDD with an SSD, that your drive's gonna last you 10 years. Because honestly, outliers exist. I would think that it's gonna easily last you the next 5-ish years, but long term, I don't know. A NAS is your personal cloud, except for if it's located in your house and your house burns down, then your computer with a copy of whatever data, and then your NAS with the copy of that data. And I know the house burning down is like an extreme example, but that's probably the one biggest example of 2 of your backup or 2 of your copies of data getting, you know, eliminated at once. I guess if your house gets burglarized and they go for your electronics, you could also have your PC and your NAS stolen. But yeah, it's not a very common scenario. It's just one of those things for the small subset of people that it happens to, you can't recover the data, right? If you only have those backups. So you need one off-site. You need one off-site and then 2 on-site. Damien says, recently upgraded from a 2700X and 2060 to a 5700 X3D. Very solid. Nice. That's like the perfect upgrade scenario right there. To that and the 3070 for 320. Thoughts on the upgrade? 320? That's really good because the 5700 X3D was like 130 bucks, right? On AliExpress. Which means that you got the 3070 for like close to 200, if not a little bit less. So yeah, that's very solid. And that's a big performance boost too. Yeah, and then you could probably sell the 2700X for, I don't know, like 40 or 50 bucks. I guess it's a Ryzen 7, maybe like 50 to 60. And then the 2060 for like, I don't know, 100 bucks. Thanks for your input. I trust HDDs, but I'm spoiled with M.2 speeds. Yeah, dude. How any of you go back and use a system with only a hard drive in it? It's been a while since I've done it, but I have done it before, just to like see. And man, hard drives are they feel so bad. Just everything you do, like opening up Windows Explorer to try to look through your documents and, you know, just these different folders, even like trying to, like the computer just having to take the time to think and seek it out. We are spoiled with solid state storage. I would agree with that. I will never go back, says KL130. Yeah. Big Country says SSD/HDD always feel like a gamble to me. You have some that last 15 plus years and others that die within 6 months. Just the luck of the draw. Yeah, I think I made a video, or I had a video with a buddy of mine where we talked about the bathtub curve. But the bathtub curve, oh, I can't even get it to show up large. But I think the biggest thing with drives is to, that initial period. Try to, you know, do lots of reads and writes. Try to stress it. See if you could get it to fail early so that you know. But once you reach, I don't know what the threshold is considered. Like, what would you consider the threshold of when you would consider your drive safe? Like, after a year of heavy usage, would you consider yourself in the clear for a drive that will likely last long? It's very subjective, but yeah. I think that's with any PC parts, even power supplies too, right? I bring this example up so many times. You know how many people out there are using low tier fire hazard bombs of power supplies for like 10 years straight with no problems? I would say with power supplies specifically, it is very sensationalized that a low quality power supply is going to A, fail and take all your components with it, or B, start a fire and burn your house down. But there's this narrative that if you use a low quality power supply, it's gonna happen to you, right? With SSDs and HDDs, I feel like the vocal minority of people who do buy drives that do fail prematurely, they're the more likely people to go and leave a review saying this drive sucks and it died early. Whereas the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who buy drives, hard drives and SSDs every year, they buy it, it works with no problems, and they don't even go back to leave a 5-star review that it works fine. So reviews and numbers are typically skewed towards the people that, you know, experience the failures, if that makes sense. I still use hard drive due to it being cheap for large amount of storage. And yeah, same here. So can I get it in the frame? So but for the most part, on my main PCs, I stick to either M.2 or SATA SSDs. Robert Fixit says, I just replaced a burned Corsair CX750M. Surprising. Haven't seen that before. Yeah. And the, whoops, let me show that. But yeah, that's, I mean, there's always going to be outliers, right? Think of the best power supply company and model. Just pick whatever from the PSU tier list, right? I'm sure there are, I'm not going to say plenty, but I'm sure there's a number of those that have experienced premature failures or catastrophic failures. The number is very low, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So it's all a numbers game. Oh, wait. Uh-oh. Was I muted? Give me 1 second. How did I mute? Test 1, 2. Are we good? I didn't press anything that would have muted. What's going on here? Oh, chat also disconnected. Give me 1 second. This is weird. Alright, let me make sure everything is... You're good. Okay. It was cake and dust. Oh, yeah, okay. And if it's user error, then... Okay, I'm good now. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know how I could have muted. There's no mute button on my receiver for the wireless mic, and I did not touch the mute button because I didn't touch it again to turn it back on. That was odd. Yeah, I don't have any dropped frames. OBS is looking good. Bitrate's good. Yeah, it's weird. Okay, thanks. Yeah. But yeah, I wonder what could I have bumped into? Okay, sweet. Yeah, sorry. Oh, the audio cut out. Okay, I don't know which part I cut out while explaining failures, but I guess what I was trying to say, in case it got cut off, is yeah, even the best stuff can have failures. Obviously, the more premium or high quality it is, the lower the rate of failures. But in general, I think it's not as bad as it is portrayed. Nothing to see, taking it back to tariffs, saying tariffs are paid by the importer and then passed onto the consumer. So a 60% tariff would be increase the cost of the imported item 60% additionally. So an item that used to be 100 would go up. That item would be at least 160, but likely to be higher. Someone earlier was saying that the last time Trump was in office, China paid the tariffs. I can't try to go dig down the source or if, you know, to fact check that at all. So I'm just going to take it as it is and hopefully assume that that was true. But I don't think it's as simple as, you know, as that. Like, there's a lot more factors that go into play. But for the most part, I would agree that said, yes, most of what I've read from economists say that historically, the majority of tariffs are paid by the importer and does affect the cost of goods to the consumer at the at the end of the transaction. But for the ones coming up in the next year, we're not sure yet because obviously they haven't been put into place yet. And the issue is though that everyone is so like, everybody is so passionate. Like politics is so crazy now compared to, you know, in the past, that even if you are trying to be like nonpartisan and unbiased about something, I feel like everybody takes it as an attack if whatever you're talking about does not shine a good light on whatever side you're supporting. So yeah, I mean, I think even with regards to the facts about the tariffs, there's not even agreement in the different things that people have said in chat tonight. But at the end of the day, it was just to bring up the conversation so that we could get talking about it. And worst case scenario, when prices go up, what are people going to do? I'm not trying to like, you know, incite arguments and stuff in my chat because that is annoying to deal with. It's just bringing up a topic that's gonna potentially or could potentially affect all of us. So yeah. There was, yes, I remember the exception on electronics. I can't bring up the, let me see if I can bring up the article. Exception. When, and I don't remember when that was. See, because you're still seeing, like, if you look at it, because I'm trying to put in the keywords to bring up the article. So, exception, electronics, tariff, Biden, Trump era. See, so there's a lot of stuff that even talking into earlier this year, they're talking about, yeah, finalizes increases on some Trump, China tariffs. So, so this was back in May, so like 6 months ago, but the White House.gov, President Biden's economic plan supporting investment, creating good jobs in key sectors. Let me see. But the exception that I'm trying to remember the details now, off the top of my head. Because I remember, I could have sworn there was like a very stark moment in time where like, what was it, like power supplies and PC cases were like really expensive, and then all of a sudden it dropped back to normal. I don't remember what month or year that was within the last 4 years. Yeah, well, see, in 2017, when DDR3 and DDR4 saw those massive price increases, that wasn't due to tariffs, if I remember correctly. That was due to, wasn't it like the tsunami? Well, no, it was both. Now that I'm trying to think back at that specific time, wasn't it, didn't they find it to be price fixing as well? Like collusion between all the memory manufacturers, they artificially like increased the prices. But I remember also when the what was it, tsunami that hit Thailand, and like was it the Samsung factory was impacted. I thought that was the leading theory of why memory prices increased at one point in time. But again, there's a lot that has happened within the last, I don't know, 8 or so years. If I'm getting my facts wrong, don't quote me on it. I'm just bringing up specifically for the price of RAM. I don't think that was tariffs. Scott C. joining the Neuro Budget membership. Thank you. I appreciate it. Why did storage prices increase? You're talking about this time around or like in the past? This time around, I haven't even looked into it. Or if I did, I totally forgot. But let's see how good Google's AI is. Why are SSDs so much more expensive now in 2024? TrendForce reporting in late 2024 that Samsung again plans to increase price of NAND flash due to surging demand for artificial intelligence. So that would make sense. I don't know. This is just the first thing I'm seeing. But yeah, we have in the last year seen a dramatic, like almost double price increase for SSDs. 1 terabytes, whereas down to as what, like $30. Now they're averaging like $60. So we have seen a huge increase in price. But with regards to specifically right now, where's all the articles about it? Let me see if I can. That PC Gamer, the growth in AI supercomputers, partly responsible. To double the price though? I don't know about that. I'm trying to find like sources that. Here's digital trends. Getting more expensive. Prices NAND chips jumped 50% according to TrendForce, which translates to higher prices. Yeah, but so Samsung put in place a 20% increase on the price of NAND flash chips, restricting production in order to stabilize prices. Okay, that leans towards price fixing, because there's only so many like most of memory and flash comes from like the major, what is it, Micron, Samsung, and Hynix. Was there a fourth one? I forget. But before shaking your fist at greed, though, it's important to establish some context. Price SSD drop continued over last year, mostly driven by consistent price drops of NAND flash. Samsung, SK Group, okay. Yeah, they're not really great. A lot of nothing in the article, not telling us like, I don't even know if experts understand the core reasoning for the increase. Okay. We need more US production. I think, like I said earlier in the stream, US production will inevitably come at the cost of everything being permanently higher priced. And that's just because the cost of US labor, the cost of living, like wages, working conditions are so much better in the US than all these other countries that we import these things from, right? So, the only reason the prices are the way that they've been for, as long as we can remember is because we're importing it for cheaper from other countries. Yeah, the prices have to go up, which, I mean, that's definitely going to impact the lower to middle class the most. I don't think, the price of electronic components and groceries and stuff like that really affect rich people, but middle class and below, I definitely think so. So that's not a good answer, but that's just the reality. So I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. Obviously, I'm not a politician. I'm not an economist. So I just exist here. So yeah. Waiting for Intel to get their stuff together with chip production. And prices have already gone up. Yeah. Once the I have zero clue as to how like chip pricing from Intel is going to be once their production is up and running in the States. In Decline says, call me a communist, but I use the ASCII keyboard even though they're banned on Amazon. I think that's fine. Like, same thing with Deep Cool too. I'm trying to think of like I think I would be okay with using Deep Cool products if they were made available, regardless of the whole situation that happened, because I still don't know what exactly they did. Like, did they supply directly to like war efforts in Russia, or was it just because they sold in Russia at all? I don't know the fine details of it, but Deep Cool, like, I've used their products over the years. I've had sponsorships with them before they got banned in the US. Like, I don't think using products like that necessarily makes you a communist. Yeah. Wasn't there a... Yes, there was a SSD, the natural disaster. It was a tsunami. I believe it was Thailand. A year ago? No, the Thailand thing was years ago, but I don't know if more recently SSD factories were hit, so... Well, shoot. Ford engines powered German tanks in World War II under Ford work. Crazy. Okay, I think that's a little different. That is like, yeah, that is directly like related to like war efforts and stuff like that. But I don't know what Deep Cool could really do to help Russia out. So Deep Cool still sells everywhere else except us. The Keto Chief says, anyone know a good place to sell a PC? Just got a new one, but my dad no longer can use his health. Just got a new one, but my dad no longer can use. His health got bad. So you mean your old one that you were gonna give to your dad? So yeah, some people have said best places to sell stuff locally. But not everyone has a good local market. It's not Zach's platform. Zach works is an employee there, but it's not. Jawa.gg is what you're talking about. I am assuming, yes, Zach is on the front of the page, as well as, but he's an actual employee there. Ozzy, I don't believe is, and I'm here because we got sponsored, but Jawa is a pretty good place to list as well, because it is a market specifically catered to used PCs. So this is what you have to do, right? And I have a video on this coming up soon as well, relatively soon. So let's say you want to sell for... Their platform fee is not 20% though. The platform fee is 12%. It's 3%... it's 3% on the using Stripe. And 9% for them as Jawa. So 12% total. Whatever you're looking to get out of your PC, mark it up by 12% when you list it on here. So after it sells, taking into account fees, you get the amount you were looking for that you would have sold it for in the used market. But yeah, I mean, in general, you can make the most profit when you don't have to pay any fees, right? So you can list locally, but if your town or area just doesn't have people looking to buy PCs, or if it's, you know, way too competitive, it doesn't hurt to put it on a website like Jawa, where it reaches way more people. I know some people were grandfathered in. Do you know what it drops to, Asian dude? I know some people were grandfathered in at 6%, but does it drop to 6% to people who do sell more than 5 PCs? Yeah, Shauner is a frequent seller there, but he's one of the, you know, OGs, so he got one of those rates. I should really know this, says Shauner. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think this is the first time I'm hearing about it dropping, but to be honest, I haven't followed super closely in it. I am also, because I made my account back when it first started, I am also grandfathered in, so. It drops down to 5% as long as you have all good reviews. Interesting. Okay. I should go sell 5 So that means it makes it an 8% cut, which is actually pretty bearable, under 10%. Yeah. I saw the GT 1030 on Jawa this morning. You did? Let's see if we can find it. Sold listings. Show sold listings. Can we find it recently? Robert Fix It, there you are. You sold it for 38 bucks. How much are GT 1030s going for? If you want, well, if you want to buy a new GT 1030, it is looking like, what the heck? Why did it just show $60 here? Even the new and used one shows 74. Why did it give me a $60 result? Is there any for 60 bucks? No, there's not. Google, what are you doing? But yeah, okay, 38, very fair price, especially for something that's very niche like this. You know, it doesn't require external power or like a power, external power connectors or a more powerful power supply. Just for, you could do light gaming on this, and then just multi-display with the DVI and HDMI. Hey, what's up, username? How am I supposed to say your name? Username UI5UW. Is it like username UI5UW? I'm just gonna read it like that. What's up? I'm good. How are you? Just chilling. Mine was 20% because it was my first time selling, and at the time it was during COVID, so pricing on shipping was high for first timers. I thought the buyer pays for shipping. Did you offer free shipping and that, like, did you offer free shipping and then that's why you had to front the shipping costs? Yeah, I think most people on here, they make the buyer pay for shipping. I know you can pick who, but I don't think you can blame Jawa for a higher percentage cut if you chose to pay for shipping, is what I'm saying. Or like, you can't include that in the cost of fees if you put that on yourself, you know? So, yeah, the solution is definitely to have the buyer pay for shipping. Which again, is gonna all factor into whether or not it's gonna sell any easier on Jawa versus listing it locally. So yeah, you're right. There's the shipping fees and then the platform fees that you have to mark or that you have to account for. Are people going to buy that at the higher price and having to pay for shipping versus locally where you can pick it up and not pay shipping or platform fees? But I always sell locally first. Once stuff doesn't sell, I list on Jawa. See, and like Shauner is, I would say, like a pretty good representative of a Jawa seller. Like he's sold a bunch on there. He's very active in the community, stuff like that. So, even him saying, with Shauner, I'm not trying to get you in trouble by saying that you prefer... I guess, what is the mindset over on the Jawa community? Like, do people try to be hush-hush about talking about selling locally over listing it on the platform? Because it's obvious that you make the most money selling it locally. But you kind of have to do a balancing act with regards to... you know, how much you want to promote that versus selling on the platform. This is out of left field. Murif says, Danny, have you ever done any male modeling? My girl swears she's seen you in a Calvin Klein underwear ad. You probably won't be able to get the picture, but I would love for you to send the picture of that ad, because no, I have never done any male modeling. I do have a funny story though regarding male modeling, and this story goes back, we're talking to 2007, 2008 time frame. But yeah, so this is kind of unrelated, but because you brought this up, my ADD mind goes, or ADHD mind goes there. So, quick story time. In college, I went to the University of Washington. There's this big square called Red Square. It's like this big brick UW Red Square. It's this big area on campus where like you see, this is like probably the most cross-traversed area on campus. There's the like multiple libraries on here, stuff like that. It's just all paved with brick. I'm trying to find a good picture of it. Here's an yeah, like, I don't know. But I'm trying to paint this picture in your mind because during like nicer spring and summer weather, you have people just here hanging out, promoting a bunch of different stuff, right? But in my freshman year of college, I remember distinctly, I was walking with my friend, and we were walking across Red Square, walking across this area. It was like super packed and stuff, but there was someone handing out flyers and ads. And then they stopped me and my friend, and they said, do you do any like male modeling? And we were like, no, obviously not. I was like, oh, you'd be perfect for it. So they give us these pamphlets, right, with information if we were interested in male modeling. It seemed very innocent at the time when you looked at the pamphlet because, you know, it was just talking about like, this is how much we pay, this is what it kind of entails, but they didn't go into the full details. So we looked into it more, being broke college kids, and we're just interested because like, really, they want like us, average looking, or, you know, not even good looking people to model. So we looked into it, and it turned out to be, they were looking for people for gay porn. So I could see myself being like, I guess attractive for that genre of like what they call like twinks, right? Which is like more on the skinnier, slender side, smaller frames in stature. But that story is just like one of the most ridiculous interactions I've had with someone randomly on the college campus ever. So they want you to play the twink. Exactly. See, even you guys know like what the story was leading to. But officially, no, I have never modeled. I have been approached to model one time in my life, and that is the story behind it. So, yeah. Yeah, and this is so many years ago, but it was so ridiculous that I still remember it. Yeah, this was 2007, 2008. Which is, what, 16, 17 years ago? But it was hilarious. I wish I still had that flyer. I'm pretty sure that website, or whatever the heck, that company, it doesn't exist anymore. It's been so long, but, yeah. Bro will be a future model for AMD. I mean, on some of my LAN party videos, people keep on... They like the naked shower scene. Some people like the naked shower scene content. But Chandra says, okay, let's get back on topic now. So Jawa knows that people list in multiple places. As far as I know, there isn't anything they can do about it until someone is canceling sales because it's selling elsewhere other than Jawa. I see. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, for them to combat that, they just need to be competitive with the fees, which... when they started out, I forgot what the fee was. The fees were definitely really low. Like, when I did my first Jawa ad, the fee was like, I think it was like 3% Jawa, 3%, or was it 3% payment, and then 6% Jawa. It was like 6 to 9%. I don't remember what it was, but it was really, really low. And then they obviously have, because, you know, the funding and stuff like that, and just hiring more employees, managing the website, larger traffic, etc. It makes sense that they increase the price, but if you're gonna increase, or not the price, but the fees, then I don't think you can be mad that other people are gonna use other options that let them keep the most money. Like, it makes no sense for someone, if you have two options and have two sales that you can potentially make, to choose the one where you get less money. Right? Like, I'm all for supporting a company and things like that, but if you're gonna like be real, like, if you're gonna, even as someone who is sponsored by Jawa and really wants Jawa to succeed, if you're gonna ask me, do I want more or less money from selling a PC, I'm always gonna say I want more money. There are still definitely benefits to Jawa, using Jawa though. Again, the reach that they have, as well as what's it called? Compared to like eBay and stuff like that, it's a more like, it is PC building centric. So I feel like you're talking with a human being if something goes wrong, instead of like with Facebook Marketplace online or OfferUp online, if you do the shipping options, or eBay even. Like, those aren't platforms catered to PC gamers and stuff. So if you have a problem, they might not hear you out as much. So. What's up, Demon Mate? Reluctant Hero says, I'm looking at your 1070, Robert. It might go well. Oh. Wait, let's take it. Now that we're just like on Jawa and talking about it, let's look at what Jawa has. Oh, you don't have, wait, 13 listings. So you're looking at this 1070, which I don't know what that market average is, but 1070, yeah, it is a good value option. Let me see. What was that website that was linked before? Let me check the stream submissions. I think I pinned it. Graphics card comparisons. Let's use this again. See how accurate it is for the 1070. Huh? Uh... 1070s are not on here? What? How is it only 1050 when I try to type in... Oh, used. There it is. 75 bucks on eBay. I feel bad. I'm sorry, Robert. I'm sure I got a lower price than what you have it listed for. But I'm just trying to see what the going rate of it is. So there is one for 74. Buy it now. Did they talk about if it's been mined on? Because that might... Used and tested. This card's working condition. What you see is what you get. Okay, all that stuff. Yeah. Toasty Bros got their Instagram account unbanned. Maybe Nope next. I don't have any faith in that. I should reach out to them, like, to see if they got... if they have a contact. Mine has been, like... over a year though, and theirs is more recent, so I don't know. I don't have much faith in it. Jawa, yes, Jawa, the account specifically has like the Sandcrawler account. Let me see. TX30. Let's just look at like 3070. They have a ton. If I can find them. Yeah, I noticed that, Shauner. Where are they? How's it not popping up? I could have sworn I just saw a bunch of random ones. And it's Ryan doing all the listing, right? Tech side, Pure Jawa. Yeah, what the heck? Here, 3080s. I know I saw 3080s listed from... Where's the official Jawa account that's selling stuff? What the heck? Why is it not... Is it because I'm not under PC builds. I'm just looking in general. Yeah, I'm gonna do... I put up the GPU filters. Look at AMD or NVIDIA. This is weird. Yeah, I'm seeing everybody else's listings. How is it... Oh, official Java store. There we go. Finally. Why did that take so long to find? But yeah, they have a ton of different graphics cards at very competitive prices too. Where was the... So, where's the 3080 that they had? Yeah, 6800 for 335. ASRock A750s for 175. And a bunch have sold though too. Yeah, look at all these. Which one is this? 2080 for 200 bucks. 220. Which one is this? 170 for 2070. That one I feel like is a little bit high. Basically, all the good stuff got snatched up already. I bet you buy flippers too. I always put a high price to start, then I do a sliding drop. Makes sense. Why not get the most out of it if you can, right? Selling local equals max profits, but you encounter lowballers. Yeah, I guess that's another talking point that I forgot to mention earlier. Aside from having a bigger reach, yeah, you have to deal with more people trying to trade you go-karts and scooters for your PC, as well as people, you know, giving super low prices. So, local is more risk. As a seller, in what way? I mean, I guess aside from getting robbed, but there's more risk as a buyer buying local because there's no guarantees. Whereas Jawa, they have like a, you know, they have like a buyer protection type stuff. $155 for a 6600 XT. I'd say that's a good price. Yeah, I say that's a good price. How much are those going for new? Like 2 something? Yeah, so you get that's a 6600. Those are closer to 240. Remember when these were like 210 and when 6600s were like 180? The prices on them have shifted back up from their like all-time lows. Actually, let me see. Let's see what the vetted app says. So it's brand new 6600. So let's see. Yeah, they've been sitting at 200 for a while, and then they've had these sales down to like 170 even. I wish we could go back more than a year because these were a little bit over a year ago much cheaper, noticeably cheaper. Let's see if there's a different one, like the Eagle. Were these ever that much cheaper? Here's 180. From where though? Let me see. Where was that price taken from? They usually tell you, but usually from like Newegg and stuff like that. Maybe I didn't pick a good one to click on. Let's look at the fighter card. But yeah, I would say 155 for a 6600 XT. That's a good price. The performance you're getting out of a 6600 XT for around 150, I like it. Here's 190 on this one with the sale down here. Did Reddit just go way too much AI? Yeah, they used to give like more insightful information. In-depth analysis. Here we go. Let me click that. Sharon R says, is now a good time to try and build my PC? A friend's planning to, but unsure if prices will increase over the next 3 months. I mean, we've talked about this multiple times throughout the stream. The best time to build a PC is when you need it. The whole tariff situation, I think, makes it more so the argument that, yeah, you should build right now. But even without the tariffs, even with stuff around the corner, I still stick by my general advice that if you need the system right now, just build it. I would say prices right now, regardless of what's coming out next year, regardless of tariffs, prices right now are pretty dang good. You can get CPUs, graphics cards. I mean, storage prices are up, but when other stuff is down, it balances out. Like, if I don't know how much money your friend or you have to spend, but I would say right now is pretty good. You could build good performing computers for like, I don't know, $800, $1,000. Very reasonable amounts of money. Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people are caught up on like not doing their next build or not doing their next upgrade because so many people tell them to wait. But you gotta look at the opportunity costs, right? Let's say you build now, you might save $100 if you wait until, you know, next quarter to build. But next quarter is 2 to 3 months away. How much like enjoyment and use out of a computer for 2 to 3 months, how much is that worth to you? Like, is $100 worth waiting that long to not have your, you know, PC or your upgrade, right? So as much as I'm all about saving money and things like that, you have to also consider the value of having a PC 2 to 3 months in advance, and the risk of the tariffs potentially making it so that it's even more expensive. So I'd say right now is a good time to build. If someone is always told to wait, they will never get anything new. That is true. Yeah, people will tell you to wait till next generation. You can wait till next generation for so long that you just eventually just give up and don't even care about computers anymore. And to me, like, again, paying a 10 or 20% premium, while it's not preferred, it all washes out over the course of the lifetime of the computer, right? Like, let's say I want to build a computer right now for $1,000. It could potentially be $900 next year, you know, when new stuff comes out and then the prices drop, etc. But over the course of 3 to 4 years of using that computer, $100 kind of like smears over to, like, how many days is that? Like 1,000 days? That's like on the orders of cents per day that you paid to get your computer and start using it right away. I'm not saying don't save money where you can, but there's a balance to it, right? Is it overkill to use M.2 with PCIe adapters? If I'm understanding you correctly, you are asking about... let me see if I can bring it up. I think I bought and showed one of these in the video. You're talking about one of these, right? I guess, what is the basis of your question? Is it because you only have 1 or 2 slots and you want to expand it even more? Is it overkill? No, I think there's perfect use cases, especially like older systems too, with either no slots or only 1 slot, and you want multiple. I think there is an argument to use something like this. I've used it before in the past. They're relatively cheap. And, you know, most motherboards going back like way longer than before M.2s even became super relevant and common. They have PCIe slots, times 4 slots that could use these. So it just adds another thing that, you know, you have to, another part. But let me see. Yeah, the good thing about this is that it doesn't require external power either. So you could just install it and go. What's for dinner? It is getting close to dinner time. I'm actually starving. Dinner tonight, I made tortilla soup. Is Jason in the chat? He's gonna grill me for this, but I made a chicken tortilla soup. Which is like, I don't remember when I first had chicken tortilla soup, but I love it because I make it nice and thick and hearty. So like lots of corn, lots of beans, lots of chicken, lots of, what else goes in here? It's not too soupy. It's got, the way I eat it is with tortilla chips, and I like scoop out chunks of stuff to eat it with. So it is very, very hearty. But yeah, I made this for dinner last night, and just going through leftovers. But yeah. And sometimes when we get to the end of the bag of the tortilla chips, I just dump it in, and then it just, you know, adds that crunch texture to the soup. But otherwise, I'm dipping and scooping out the chicken and veggies and stuff from it with like chips. I forgot cilantro, so I totally failed. I went to the store yesterday to buy the stuff for the recipe, and for some reason, it just blanked on me to get cilantro. We usually carry cilantro in our fridge, just like, you know, all the time. So part of me probably forgot because I assumed we had cilantro, but it had gone bad. Cilantro is annoying because it doesn't last that long. Like after a week, it like completely wilts and starts to like, you know, turn that black and then becomes like juicy in a bad way. But yeah, I forgot the cilantro, which kind of sucks, and I was too lazy to go back to the store. But cilantro definitely helps top off chicken tortilla soup. What do you eat on a weekly basis? That is a good question. It's all over the place. Definitely a lot of like soupy, stewy, porridgey type stuff because it's really easy to not only make, but to make in bulk and to make and store, right? Like it doesn't require a lot of stuff. Like I'm thinking back, like chicken curry, Japanese chicken curry, like the one that we make for the LAN parties. We made that recently. Stir fried stuff. So random protein. So either like chicken, beef, or pork with random vegetable, whatever we have, either fresh or from the freezer. Like usually string beans, broccoli, peas, things like that. Vegetable mix. And then just like with a carb, like rice or something. So yeah, I think that's like the staple. Just having frozens on hand that you can just pull out anytime. Yeah, like rice is a good filler, but we always have frozen, you know, pork, steak, or chicken on hand. Chicken the most of, like the Costco chicken packs, the frozen stuff. Or it's not frozen, it's refrigerated when you buy from Costco, but then you end up freezing it. We have that, so just whatever recipes we can make with those, with the, you know, spices and stuff we have on hand. I like doing a weekly meal prep of chicken quesadillas. Super easy to reheat. Yeah, chicken quesadillas are really good. I need to make more chicken quesadillas. Probably throw in a decent amount of like bell peppers or like other vegetables into it too, because you gotta get, you know, a little bit more nutrients than just proteins and carbs. But yeah, chicken quesadillas would be a good one. I guess carrying tortillas on hand is something we don't typically do, so I would have to like specifically go out. But everything else, like we typically have some kind of shredded cheese on hand. We typically have chicken. So yeah, we're just missing tortilla usually. I could not do soup all week. Soupy rather. Yeah, I'm pretty good with soup. As long as it's pretty hearty, right? I can't just do like straight up Campbell's chicken noodle soup, right? If that's what you're imagining soup, no, I cannot do that long term or a lot. Like, let's see, chicken noodle soup. Like if you're talking about like stuff, I guess this has a little bit more filling, but even then it's mostly noodles. Yeah, I need to fill it with more veggies and with more meats for sure, and a good amount of cheese for the tortilla soup. Oh yeah, we did like chicken tikka masala. They sell those. I love chicken tikka masala. It is like the most, you know. Let's see, jar. You know, they sell these like jars, which is to me really good, given the convenience of them and their low cost. You just cut up some chicken, saute it real quick, throw in the sauce, mix it, and it gets like, if you consider you know, curry from an Indian restaurant a 10 out of 10, like, you know, this comes in to me at like an 8 out of 10. It's not the same, but given how it's dramatically cheaper and I can make it at home and make it in bulk, I'll settle for an 8 out of 10, you know? Stream submissions. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, there's the quesadillas. This is this a week's worth? This seems like a... Maybe it's the picture, but it's a deceptively small amount. I would need to eat like 2 to 3. I guess 2 to 3 per sitting. This gets you through about 4 sittings worth. But I guess you do want to change it up. Like 5 meals worth? Oh, so 1, 2. Okay, so about 2 per meal. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this looks good. What's inside of it? A go-to fast food is Wendy's chili. It's health-ish and chili. I would say I'm not a huge fan of chili in general. I don't know why. I just never like ate it that much growing up, but I do like Wendy's in general for their value value items that aren't healthy, but they are filling for their price compared to other fast food. Yeah. Your boy Ram says, I finally got to buy the DIY PC Q3 V2, where they updated the fans so that they're not, they're Molex, right? DIY PC Q3, yeah, they were Molex fans. Or were they 3-pin? Now I'm forgetting already. But they have a V2? Is it listed as the V2? It is, okay. Yeah, so this case, $90 though? That's starting to get into the price range of you don't even need to buy a DIY PC anymore. But maybe it's not that much on okay, it is cheaper. Yeah, why is it listed as 90 on their website? I guess it's always perpetually on sale. That strategy. So is this the V2? Okay. Yeah, for $62, improving those fans to me is pretty huge. Oh, you said Q10. Okay. Oh, the Q10 is their more mid-sized tower. This one I have not built in, but I'm guessing it has the same fan problems. Danny, did you ever crap your pants from curry? No. Not from curry. Or just, okay, the way I said that didn't make sense. I have not, I've had close calls eating stuff, like, you know, super spicy stuff, where I have almost missed making it to the bathroom on time, or like I'm driving home and there's traffic, but for curry specifically, no. Which I don't understand. Like, maybe my stomach is just built different, but like, there are certain foods, like one is over easy eggs for some reason, because the egg isn't cooked all, like, you know, over easy or like sunny side up eggs is not fully cooked. Like that gives my stomach, like it makes me an upset stomach, and like when I eat it, I have to go to the restroom almost right away. Like stuff like curry though, which has a known reputation for giving people like the runs, or like Mexican food, Taco Bell, etc. Those don't give me stomach problems. It's weird. It's the most random other stuff that makes me have to go number 2 right away. But yeah, most people blame food, but it really has to do with eat on a hot day. With eat on a hot day, huh? I had to plug Danny on the drive back from LTX. He was so full, he made it though. Dang, I just ate and now I made you hungry again? Yeah, I wish I even had some of the leftover Halloween candy downstairs. Cause I need to eat something soon. It's 7:05, so alright. Let's wrap up the stream in the next 5 or so minutes so that I could go eat and get on with the rest of my night. So let's just hang out and chat. Let's see. Oh, we got some more. I'll pull out food related stuff just to make everybody hungry. Okay, so my question, Demon Mitt, is I've never bought canned chicken. Not to like, you know, put it down or anything, but to me the idea of canned chicken just is so, it's kind of like tuna, which I'm not a fan of tuna. It reminds me of tuna, right? But like chicken is so cheap and readily available. I can see the appeal of it because it's canned. So it's, you know, it storage wise is way easier, right? Like my freezer is a mess with how much frozen meat we have in it. So storage wise is easier. It lasts like not forever, but a really long time being canned. So I understand the appeal from those, but for me, chicken has always been so cheap per pound already to get it more fresh that I've never bought canned chicken. Maybe I need to try it. I'm not knocking it, but I'm curious, especially since you are getting it from what looks to be Costco Kirkland anyways. They sell the chicken packs for like so dirt cheap already. Do they even have it? Yeah, they sell it in, you know, these so cheap. Is the convenience like truly the reason you go for the canned stuff? Oh no, see, okay, don't judge people, okay? Robert Pixis says, oh no, canned chicken. Jason Whitmer says depression food. Hey, if we have another Great Depression, canned chicken is going to be one of the saviors along with Spam, okay? Don't hate. But it's not like tuna. It's just stupid. It's stupid easy. Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, if you look at it, at the end of the day, it comes out, especially if you're shredding it or like cutting it into small chunks anyways, it's going to come out as chicken. But military MRE worthy, lol. It just, and it works for something like filling for Mexican. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. It's not like you're making whole chicken fillets or battering fried chicken or something, right? But it's funny because, like, I have just never, ever tried cooking with... I'm sure I've probably eaten stuff that had canned chicken. I'm sure of it. Either by restaurants or, you know, friends or family get together and people prepared with it. But opinions on corned beef hash? Not a fan. I don't know if that's weird. So, corned beef hash. Is it because... corned beef, and it's the corned beef that I am not a fan of. Something about the meat of corned beef. The potatoes is fine, it's whatever. But the corned beef, the canned meat of it, it's weird because I like Spam. Growing up, my parents did try to make corned beef hash, and I never acquired the taste. Is it because it's like extra salty, or this is gonna sound bad, okay? And I'm not putting down anyone who likes corned beef, but when I eat or taste the, you know, whatever typical generic corned beef in a can and smell it, it is reminiscent to me of what if dog food was made into human food, like wet dog food was turned into human food. That is what corned beef hash would be. Which I know I have no grounds to talk on because I like Spam, which is like hot dog random mystery meat packed in a can. But that's just my experience or my take on it. Does anyone agree with me, or am I just like way off base here? He says, as I know, and I like Dino Nuggies. Look, I never said my opinions were right, but my opinions are my opinions. Looks too close to throw up. Anyone else ever watch LA Beast eat a canned cheeseburger? I do like LA Beast, or I used to watch this stuff a lot back in the day. Now I just almost exclusively food eating, like crazy challenges. Is Matt Stoney stuff that I watch. It's just wildly convenient. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Chicken of the seas. Hey, if we have a disaster, he's winning. Yeah, exactly. Both Spam and corned beef hash are delicious. Here's the thing. If I could, I would want to like corned beef hash. Maybe I just haven't had it prepared the right way. Let me bring this up with Melissa. I actually, like, we don't make corned beef hash stuff. We make Spam stuff. Like, so I know, like, her opinions on Spam. We both enjoy Spam. We like Masubi. We like other Spam related dishes. I don't know. I actually don't know, or I don't recall Melissa's opinion on corned beef. But maybe this is time for me to make a meal with it and give it another shot. To be fair, it's probably been a number of years since I've had it. Yeah, Spam and eggs is like the staple. Like Spam, eggs, and rice, like that is, when you talk about, not anymore, kind of weaned off of it because, you know, I'm an adult now. But growing up, this is definitely a staple meal. Yeah, this right here. Over easy or sunny side egg. I like over easy because I don't like the idea of egg whites not being cooked through. But this plate is my childhood. And my college years too. Corned beef needs a lot of eggs to tolerate it. Yeah, I think I'm in that boat. I have one can of Spam right here in the background of the studio. We always keep Spam on hand. We get that Costco pack. Fry Spam in guava jelly? What does that do? I've never heard of this. Guava jelly. Guava Spam. Oh, okay, so this is kind of like in Masubi, they do like a kind of like a teriyaki-ish seasoning. So kind of like giving it a wet coating. Okay, I see. I've never had guava jelly though. But this is a thing. Interesting. Yes, we do get the Spam with the reduced sodium. Spam is at least iconic. Different preservatives in corned beef hash. Is it way more salt? Because it's funny because when I eat even normal Spam, not the low sodium stuff, but the normal Spam, and then when I've tried corned beef in the past, I just thought corned beef was so much more salty, which is saying something because Spam is already pretty salty to the point where they released a low sodium one, which is what we get now. I'm okay with either or. But I get the low sodium just because it's more healthy. But if someone made non-low sodium, I'd still eat it. Spam is, so Big Country is the opposite of me. Spam is gross to me, but I love corned beef. When you tried Spam, it was fried, right? Because I would agree with you. Eating Spam straight out of a can, or slicing Spam and not cooking it, and just eating it raw out of the can, I could do it, but I could see why people see that's gross. Once you fry it, though, and give it a nice crisp and, like, you know, texture, I don't know. I think that should alleviate the grossness factor for a lot of people. It was fried, not a fan. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it you know, there's a number of people who don't like Spam. I understand it. Spam is like a delicacy to me now. In what way? Try Puerto Rican corned beef. What is that something special? Now, are the tariffs going to impact the corn? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Puerto Rican corned beef. I mean, this looks good. Yeah, I think I just got to give corned beef breast. I got to look up a good, highly rated, recommended corned beef recipe and make it soon. Just so I can see if corned beef can win me back over, or win me over. It never won me over. I like like kind of like dishes like this. One of my favorite dishes is a Thai dish that looks similar to this. I know it's gonna be completely different because it's not corned beef. Krapao from Thailand. It's like a ground beef, or not ground beef. It's a ground meat mixed with like basil, Thai, fish sauce, things like that. But yeah, krapao is like one of our go-to dishes that we also make frequently around the house. Yeah, pad krapao. Sometimes I try to feed it to my cat. I bet animals would love Spam. It's just like salty meat. You gotta go to a bar on St. Patrick's Day and get it made fresh. It's totally different. Okay. So in March, if I can remember to. To me, Spam tastes exactly like hot dog. Pretty good. I think they're pretty distinctly different, but the concept of them is the same. An extruded mystery meat. Whether it be in a hot dog casing or into a can. But yeah. Better than potted meat, which is dog food that dogs won't eat, lol. Any tips on trying to play Crysis on a legacy PC? What do you mean by that? I never got into Crysis. Okay, so Crysis came out, what, 2007? I'm going way over. I gotta end this after this. Crysis came out, yes, November 2007, my freshman year of college. I remember it because I had just got a new laptop for college, and I made sure, because it was paid for with scholarship money, I made sure to get a gaming laptop. But Crysis, it had a 9600 GT in it, the mobile version on Dell Inspiron. But I got Crysis illegally because I don't remember who the cracker was at the time, but I played it and I can never get into the story. I don't know why. I was also playing around, because this was like the end of 2007. This was also around the time when Modern Warfare came out. And I definitely played the crap out of the original Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4. So I don't know if it was that. Plus, I couldn't play online. As I've mentioned before, I highly prefer playing games online than single player. And did Crysis have an online? I think they did have online multiplayer, right? But because I had the cracked version, I could not play it online. Because you have to have a legit CD key and stuff to play online multiplayer. But I bought Call of Duty, so yeah, I was playing that so much online that I kind of just never gave Crysis a chance. I played it because I pirated it, but I remember the graphics were like really good for the time and stuff like that, but never got into it. You're building a 2008 period PC. Oh, that's what you're doing. Where is it? Build and setup? 2008 build. Oh, you got your GTX 260 in there. From BFG. Look, how much RAM is this? What are the specs? Robert, you didn't put how many gigs of RAM. You're talking about 2008? That would have been like, in a desktop build, that's like 8 gigabytes was a pretty common RAM capacity that people had, I think. Yeah, I think most people were at that point already like buying 2x4 kits of RAM. Which cooler is this? This does not look like a... I think putting a Hyper 212 would have been very appropriate for a 2008 era build. So I see your case with the dry bays and stuff knocked out. Very cool. Should be 8 gigabyte DDR2. Okay. Alright, take it easy, NT Tech. Were you on Radeon HD back then? In 2008, so I built my first PC, I think it was 2009. No, my first Radeon card was the 6870. What year was that? And it was specifically because of iFinity, which isn't even a thing anymore because all all graphics cards can support like 3 monitors easily. But back then, Nvidia for the longest time, their cards only supported 2 monitors, and AMD could support 3. And I ran a 3 monitor setup, so the HD 6870 is what I got coming off of the GTX 280. But yeah, that came out in 2010. And I don't remember if it was a side grade from the 280 or not, but I remember I switched to AMD because I wanted to run 3 monitors specifically. And I bought this, I didn't buy this when it first came out in 2010. I think I bought it a year, maybe 2 years later, I forget. So I think I kept my RTX or my GTX 280 for 2 to 3 years before switching. 8 gigabytes was middle of the road in 2008? Okay. I remember when I bought my laptop, it was in 2007. I bought a Dell laptop. I think it was 4 gigabytes of memory. I wish I had my invoice. I don't anymore. I don't know where that email invoice went. I think it was on my Yahoo account because that's before I had Gmail. And it's lost. I wish I had the invoice to my first Dell Inspiron. Because I could have sworn a lot of people were on 4 to 8 gigs. I don't recall many people being on 16 gigs unless you were like super power user, like, you know, high-end stuff. Robert Fixit says 2007, my last recollection, I was running 1.5 gigs of RAM, and that was a stretch for me, lol. Yeah, it's crazy. RAM capacity has exploded, and the speeds and stuff over the years. Thoughts on Alienware laptops these days? I often hear they fail after 2 years. No thoughts specifically. That would be like a Jared's tech question because he deals more with laptops. Don't buy Alienware generally is priced higher. I could have sworn though, I saw recently where when you buy Alienware, you kind of have to buy, you have to compare it to like higher end stuff, right? Like the Alienware low end stuff definitely is super overpriced. But when you start getting into the builds and laptops, specs wise, it starts to become a little bit more competitive with the other companies. But I mean, you could argue that a lot of this stuff is overpriced. Alienware, I don't know if they were really cool. I always thought Alienware PCs, they always looked like they were doing too much. It was too much, like, especially when you start getting rid of like actual functionality just for aesthetics. Not a fan of that. Alienware monitors. I've never owned an Alienware monitor, so I can't speak on that. I do. You're right though. I have heard good things about it, and I know people who would have never ever bought like an Alienware pre-built or laptop that have bought Alienware monitors. So yeah, this is the thing though. You can't just like make an umbrella assumption about a company based on some of the products that they make that might be not good value or just like crap, right? It's like saying, I remember back when people used to say, oh, you should get a Corsair or EVGA power supply because they make good power supplies. Similar to that, you can't make an umbrella statement saying every product from a company is good or bad. you have to look at it on an individual basis. And I'm sure Alienware does have peripherals or like monitors and stuff like that that are good, despite their reputation for like laptops and pre-built PCs being overpriced. Similar to how EVGA and Corsair also made very, bad quality power supplies that are not anywhere near the same quality as their high-end stuff. So, yeah. All right. I think we're almost. It's almost 7:30 now. I'm starving too much, but great stream, y'all. I appreciate everyone for coming out as always. Yeah. Hopefully you guys had fun tonight. I never have like a schedule as to what's coming up next week. So, yeah. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening or day wherever you are in the world. Have a great rest of the week and have a great weekend coming up. No video this weekend just because I'm working on one that's longer, that's taking longer to work on, to like finish. So, I'll probably see you guys either in the Discord server or in next week's stream. Same time, same day, every single week, 5 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, y'all take it easy and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.